When we talked about the 7 sacraments, we looked at how God uses the material world to save us. He not only became flesh and blood to save us, but during his public ministry, Christ uses things like mud and water to heal people. Why would he do this? He could just think and heal someone, but yet he chooses to use the created world, the world he created, to heal us, to save us. Now, we don't just see this with the 7 sacraments. We also see it with things we call sacramentals. Now, sacramentals are things like holy water, medals, crucifixes, rosaries, the ashes we receive on Ash Wednesday. But blessings are also sacramentals. And so we think about the prayer before meals when we bless our food. That's a sacramental. Sometimes we get accused of treating sacramentals like good luck charms or amulets. And this is important. We don't believe that sacramentals have power in and of themselves. They don't bestow grace the way a sacrament does. For example, I keep a crucifix in my pocket. I'm not holy because I keep this crucifix in my pocket. Rather, I keep this crucifix in my pocket because throughout the day I can feel it and I can be reminded of God's love for me. When things get tough, I can cling to it and remember that Christ suffered for my sins. And when things are going well, I can look to it and realize, wow, God loves me, and these are all blessings from him. We can think about in the New Testament when Christ even lets his garments become a vehicle, a channel of grace. That woman reaches out in faith, and it's not the garment that heals her, but it's that faith that she reaches out with that heals her in the power of Christ. The same with Peter's shadow in Acts of the Apostles. People used to lay the sick out so that Peter's shadow would pass over them and heal them. Peter's shadow didn't have power, but the people's faith that they brought at that moment healed them with the power of Christ working through Peter. We also think of Paul in Acts of the Apostles. We hear that people would bring handkerchiefs and touch them to Paul, and then go back and touch the sick with those handkerchiefs. Again, they weren't good luck charms. They weren't superstitious, but it was the faith that they brought to that act and God working through Paul in that moment. We can even see a foreshadowing of this in the Old Testament when Moses mounts a bronze serpent on a pole. The people sinned against God, and their punishment was God sending these serpents that bit them, and many died. And how were they healed? But God told Moses to put a bronze serpent on the pole, and when people looked at it, they would be saved. Does that sound familiar? The people were looking at an object of what their sin did, the effect of their sin, and when they looked on it with faith, they were healed. And so when we look at the sacramentals, we're given these to make our lives holy. We're given them to sanctify our daily routine. And so whether it's a crucifix on the wall of our office, holy water at our front door, or the blessing before lunch that we bless our food, these things should sanctify us and make us holy and remind us that God's with us and that God loves us. And this is a little theology in 3 minutes. Hey friends, exciting news for you. My very first book is available from Ave Maria Press. It's called Opening the Holy Door, and it's scriptural reflections on the virtue of hope. It's the perfect way to celebrate this Jubilee year, as together we are pilgrims of hope. You can find the link in the description below or go to joanwatson.faith to order your copy today.